It is the city united versus the killers. You are on the front lines of our efforts to keep New Yorkers safe.
4 police officers were shot here in New York City in the line of duty, and the story we're talking about here is the 2 that were killed responding to a domestic disturbance call. I was given the assignment to go talk to the mother of the shooter. Her and her other son are the only other 2 people who were alive to talk to. So 2 rookies, along with what cops are describing as a super rookie, someone who's had like a very, very short time on the force, responded to a domestic disturbance call. A 47-year-old man, LaShawn McNail, came out with a gun and shot the officers. And then when they fell down, he sprayed their bodies with bullets. And finally, the 3rd officer was able to fire his pistol and stop the cop killer, but not before he had ultimately taken the lives of these 2 officers. So that questions that we needed answered on this story, they were only going to come from the other live witnesses who were there. It was my job to go there and get them to talk to us and to answer our questions and find out exactly what the hell was going on in there. It's tough to go to the mother of a cop killer and ask her, why did your son shoot 2 cops? Why did he have a loaded AR-15 under his bed? These aren't questions that anybody wants to ask, but for this story, they were necessary. When I was going in, I figured this was a situation that was going to take a little more tact than the average door knock. So I went there early in the morning with my photographer, and I knocked on the door, and I was polite and considerate as I possibly could. I know that sounds strange, but that's exactly the tack, I should say, that works. You can't bang on the door and just start like yelling questions at somebody that nobody's gonna answer. But in this particular case, I knocked on the door. I told her I was here to talk to her. I had some very important questions for her. I basically got across the idea that I'm not here just to yell at you or to have you yell at me. I wanna ask a few questions. I want to find out what went on here. And I guess nobody else had done that really, at least not in that way, because she let us in and I just dove into the questions. She explained that his mental capacity had deteriorated and that he thought he was God and he wouldn't submit to any authority, which immediately led to me to wonder, why did you call the police to come and intervene? Didn't you think there was going to be any trouble? She said that had she known what was going to happen, she never would have called the police, and she actually started crying. So you gotta ask yourself, what's the result here? What did we find out? Was it worth going to this woman's apartment to find out the little bits that we couldn't find out from the police report? Because there were holes that we needed to fill in there in the story. And yeah, we did. We found out more about this cop killer. We found out where he came from, who his family members were. And now there's a national focus on the violence here in New York City. And the new mayor, Eric Adams, asking for federal aid and trying to combat this violence. Now everybody's watching, everybody's paying attention, and let's see if there's anything we can do to turn this around here.